Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Stephanie, and if you didn't already know that, that means you are new here. So please do well to not make it your last visit by clicking on that red subscribe button and joining the family. It is completely free, and if you are a returning subscriber, thank you for coming back. In today's video, we're going to be talking about hair textures, curl patterns, and hair types. So if you are interested, do well to keep watching. I just wanted to do some clarifications before getting into the video proper. First of all, hair texture and hair types are two different things. A lot of people tend to get confused. Hair type and curl pattern are the same, but hair texture and hair type are not the same thing. So yeah, that's just what I wanted to clarify. Okay. Hair texture is how coarse or fine your hair is. It's how your hair feels to the touch, and it is determined by your hair width. So guys, I already did a video where I spoke on hair width and hair density. So if you haven't watched that video, I recommend you watch that one. I'm going to link it in the cards on the screen and in the description box below, so check that out. I even think you should check that out before watching this video, because if you don't really understand hair width, I don't think you'll be able to properly understand hair texture. So just a suggestion. Your hair texture will be influenced by the collective width of the hair strands on your hair. So normally you could have all fine hair strands, or you could have all coarse hair strands, or you could have all medium hair strands. But some people actually have like mixtures of hair widths. Some people have fine, medium, and coarse hair strands on their hair, and that just influences the entire texture of your hair. So the majority of hair strands on your hair, if the majority of hair strands on your hair are coarse, then you have coarse hair texture. If the majority are fine, then you have a fine hair texture. And if the majority of the hair widths on your hair are on your head medium or normal, you're going to have medium hair texture. So like hair width, we have three categories of hair texture, that is fine hair texture, medium hair texture, and coarse hair texture. So before we go in depth into the different hair textures, I think it is best, or it will be better understood if we have like a mini lecture on the hair structure. The hair shaft is made up of three layers, namely the cuticle, the cortex, and the medulla. The hair cuticle is the outermost layer of the hair. It has a scale-like structure that overlaps each other. It has a defensive role. It plays a defensive role on the hair, preventing hair from damage and from damaging of the internal structure of the hair. It is equally responsible for how much the hair absorbs water, so it is responsible for hair porosity levels. Middle layer of the hair structure, since I told you guys there are three, that is the hair cuticle, the cortex, and the medulla. The cortex is in between the the cuticle and the medulla. So the cortex is responsible for the hair's texture and color. So if you have like red hair, blonde hair, black hair, the cortex is the one responsible for the hair color. And the medulla, which is the innermost layer of the hair, isn't present in all hair types. It's present only in some medium hair and some coarse hair texture. So fine hair doesn't have the medulla, and that makes the difference. That's why we had to explain all of this. Fine hair is the most fragile hair texture. It is usually very thin and has just two layers, that is the cortex and the cuticle. Now if this is your hair texture, you want to avoid heavy products like heavy gels and creams and heavy butters. Use lightweight products, and you should avoid heavy hairstyles, tight hairstyles, and just avoid like over manipulation, using a lot of heat on your hair, and avoid frequent protein treatments. Medium hair is between fine and coarse hair. It is what most people have, and in medium hair, each individual hair strand Like fine hair has both the cortex and the cuticle, but some medium hair equally has the medulla, which is the innermost layer, which is mostly found in coarse hair. Medium hair looks thicker and fuller than fine hair, and it is more resistant to breakage. Thick or coarse hair has the three layers of hair, that is the cuticle, the cortex, and the medulla. It gives the impression of a fuller head of hair, and your strands are often bigger, coarser, and they are tougher and more resistant to damage and breakage. But the downside is because your hair is really thick, it will take longer to dry. If you have any products in it, it's going to take longer to dry, to style, to detangle, and it could also get really frizzy in humid weather. Because hair width is a determining factor of hair texture, if you know your hair width, you're obviously going to know what hair texture you have or what different hair textures you have on your head. So if you haven't checked out my video on hair width, you should really check that out, because I mentioned how to find out what hair width you have in that video. So yeah, make sure to check that out so that you can find out what hair texture you have. Moving on to the next part of this video, which is hair types or curl patterns. So your hair type is basically how straight or curly your hair is, but it is not quite easy to understand because within each category of hair types we have subcategories. So there are four categories of hair type, namely type 1, 2, 3, and 4. Type 1, which is very straight hair, and type 4, which is the coarsest and the one with the tightest curl pattern. Type 1 hair, which is very straight hair, is often found on Caucasians. It is usually very oily and shiny because since it doesn't have any curls, it is easy for oil to leave the scalp straight down the hair shaft. Now, type 1 hair has three subcategories, that is type 1A, type 1B, and type 1C, all of which are very straight hair, but they differ in texture. So type 1A is usually very fine hair, meaning it has less volume, and this is mostly found in Asians. They have like finer and scantier hair. And type 1B is medium textured, and it is less fine than type 1A, meaning it just has more volume and it is fuller than type 1A. And then type 1C, which has a coarser texture, is thicker, it looks more voluminous, but all of them are still really straight and shiny hair. Type 2 hair is generally wavy and can be a lot thicker than type 1 hair. It is also broken down into three subcategories, that's type 2A, type 2B, and type 2C. Type 2A hair is usually fine, but it could be a little thick as well. It has an S-shaped form of curves, and it is also very shiny and easy to style. Type 2B hair is wavy and medium thick. It can get a lot frizzier than type 1 or 2A hair, while type 2C is actually thicker and coarse, and it gets really frizzy and it sometimes gets really difficult to style. Now moving on to type 3 hair, this is like really curly hair, and this type of hair gets straight when it is wet, and when it gets dry the curls come back up. It is easy to style and it just has really nice shiny bouncy curls, but this hairstyle equally requires a lot of care, because if you're not moisturizing your curls properly and really taking good care of your hair, your curls will just be matted and not really lively and bouncy and shiny. In the type 3 category, we equally have three subcategories, that's type 3A, 3B, and 3C. Now, type 3A hair is like really shiny and bouncy curls. The curls are looser and the hair is less prone to frizz compared to the other subcategories in category 3 in type 3 hair. While type 3B has a mixture of different textures, like it could have some fine texture, some medium texture, and some coarse texture, but it is also curlier, but the curls are not as loose as the curls of type 3A hair, and it could equally get really frizzy. Now we have type 3C, where the curls are a lot tighter, and it also has like coarse hair texture, and it could really get frizzy, and it's also prone to damage and breakage. Now moving on to the fourth category, which is actually like I think what most of you guys watching have. which is type 4 hair. Type 4 hair is coily, kinky hair, and the curls in type 4 hair are so small that it is really hard to see. And type 4 hair, when it's dry, you cannot differentiate between the different subcategories, but when it's wet, that's when you can actually tell what subcategory someone is under. So if you want to find out what hair texture you have if you are type 4 natural, then you have to check out, like you have to try and find it out when your hair is wet, because when your hair is dry, you won't be able to see the curls to even know which subcategory you fall under. So a lot of people often have the misconception that because type 4 hair is thick and coarse, it is less prone to breakage and damage. But on the contrary, type 4 hair is really very fragile, and instead, because of its density and how tight the coils. Okay, because type 4 hair is like really coily, it gets difficult to detangle, and this leads to breakage. So type 4 hair, if not properly taken care of, can really get damaged. So type 4, like the other categories, has three different subcategories as type 4A, 4B, and 4C. Though a lot of people say, like there's a group of people that say that there's 4D, but the subcategories well known to us all are 4A to C. Type 4A hair has really soft and fine, well-defined curls. The curls are easy to see. Like I said, when they are wet, because type 4 hair, all type 4 hair looks the same when it's dry, but type 4A hair, when it's wet, you can really see how fine, soft, and well-defined the curls are. And type 4B hair is also soft and has defined curls, but the curls are less defined than type 4A hair curls. And type 4C is actually sometimes coarse, and it has less defined curls. The curls are almost impossible to see. They are really tight and really small. So it's important for you to know your hair type, because this will help you make decisions that are tailored to cater for your hair specific needs. It will help you to know what your hair is capable of doing and what your hair cannot do. And this will prevent you from comparing your hair to those of others. It will prevent you from comparing your natural hair journey to those of others. And this will just help you to have a healthier mindset when it comes to your hair, and help you grow long, healthy, and beautiful hair. If you've been watching up to this point, thank you so much. I hope this video was helpful. If it was, please give it a thumbs up and share your comments and questions in the comment section below. And if you haven't already subscribed, so what are you waiting for? Please do so by hitting that red subscribe button and the notification bell right beside, so you get notified each time I upload a new video. Plus, it's completely free, so why not? And yeah, see you guys in my next video. I'm going to have all my videos linked in the description box, so if you haven't watched them, you should check them out. And yeah, see you guys in my next video. Bye.